Let's look at someone who's been dead for, 170 years or so. Dickens, Byron, Dumas, Turgenev, Victor Hugo and George Simenon all paid tribute to him. He had as much effect in his time as film and television do today. Who was this man?
I am Walter Scott. You might wonder what's the matter with me. At 18 months I fell ill and lost the use of my right leg.
Possibly to polio. They weren't as good at naming illnesses in those days.
I was lucky at that. 6 of my brothers and sisters died before me.
One good thing did come of it. He was sent to stay at his grandfather's sheep farm in the Borders. Fresh air and good food did him the power of good.
A few years later, I went back to the Borders again and again and became a good friend of a real Borderer, James Hogg.
We haven't got a stone for him here, have we?
It'll come. He was a genius. Confessions of a Justified Sinner, what a book.
Back to Scott.
I started writing poems. Epics, you might almost say. Romantic history, mostly Scottish. The Lay of the Last Minstrel, Marmion, The Lady of the Lake, Rokeby, The Lord of the Isles.
And?
That was it, really. Something happened to put me off writing epic poems.
Byron happened, and his epic poem Childe Harold. He was the latest craze. Scott felt he couldn't compete.
I may have given up writing altogether, attended my day job for once.
But he was making more money and causing more of a stir from his poetry than he was from his work at the bar.
But one day, I was rummaging around in my desk, as you do, and I came across a few chapters of a novel I started writing a few years ago. I said, not bad, actually. I might try and finish it, see how it turns out.
And the result was Waverley.
The first of the Waverley novels, as they became known. I didn't put my name to them, you see. Well, an Edinburgh Advocate writing novels, it just wasn't done.
And so we got Guy Mannerings by the author of Waverley.
Rob Roy by the author of Waverley.
The Heart of Midlothian.
Ivanhoe.
Kenilworth.
Quentin Darwin.
Old Scotland.
Old England, sometimes. It was all very tiring. I became ill, and worse was ahead.
You see, Scott had invested all his money in the publishers, who had reinvested it and lost the lot.
Ruin stares me in the face.
He had been living on credit for so long, he didn't know how much his debts amounted to. When his investments collapsed, he found out.
£116,830, 11 shillings and threepence.
But he made a vow to clear his debts through his writing.
I will involve no friend, rich nor poor. My own right hand shall do it.
He wrote day and night.
£6,000 for Woodstock, £10,500 for Life of Napoleon. Not enough. I must keep writing.
But he'd worn himself out. He died peacefully at the age of 61 at Abbotsford.
On a beautiful September day, with the sound of the River Tweed rippling by outside.
As they said about him in The Scotsman, he dies too soon for his fellow countrymen, in the fullness of his glory with an imperishable name, lamented and honoured by admirers of geniuses to the extremities of the earth.